Previously on the Pocket Party Podcast, Darren started a party in your ear holes.
Pocket Party.
And we're back. Hey everybody, it's your host Darren Carter, the party starter. On this week's special episode, we talk hotel breakfasts, travel tips, bowling alley fantasies, what to do when stopped by a cop, advice to young comedians, which I wish I would have listened to, and the struggle and how to overcome the struggle. Also, I want to give a big shout out to many of our supporters. Thank you so much. Everybody who's ever left a comment on YouTube or who has donated to the, by the way, I'm on the Cash App, $ Darren Carter Comic, Venmo at Darren Carter Comic, PayPal, go to darrencarter.com, or hired me on CAMEO. I will do personal shout outs, pick me ups, little cheers, little I like my women like I like my, you give me three of them or whatever, I'll do those three, possibly at least one of the three if I can't do all three. And we'll do some more as well. You know, I'll give you some more. I could do it all on CAMEO, but I want to give a big shout out before we start on today's special episode to Tobias Kevorkazito, YZZAZZ, I don't know if it's like Yazzass, Wilfred Matos, 100% Canadian Maple Stirrup, Stone Kitchen, Drew Hillman, Patch, Tanks, Honey, Paul Mayette, Chris McRae, and many, many more. If I didn't get to you this time, we'll get to you in the near future. Again, thank you so much for your continued love, support, sharing the podcast, Pocket Party Podcast, and just keeping me in the rotation, man. I want to be in your top 10, your top 5. Eventually, I want to be the go-to podcast you spend part of your day listening to. And as you know, if you go on YouTube, I've been busting out a lot of shorts every day, videos every day on TikTok. TikTok is blowing up right now. But, my number one passion is the podcast. I love doing it, and I love spending time with you guys and letting you know a little bit about behind the scenes and what it's like. And I think you're going to really get a kick out of this episode. This is a previous guest. His name is Brian Swinehart. He goes by Swine Time. Hey. And during the pandemic, man, this dude struggled. He rent was high, no money's coming in. His dream, the bubble popped, bam, went back to Ohio, and he'll tell you a little bit about that on this episode. But he's doing great out there, and hopefully, I'd love to see the guy come back to California and really, he was on previous episodes. He's the guy that did the stand-in work for Matthew McConaughey. He's been in some movies. They did a documentary on him, and he is on the very first episode of the Pocket Party Podcast, episode 1. It was called Gratitude List, and I had no idea what to talk about or even how to do a podcast, so I was like, let's just name 5 things that make us happy. And we went back and forth, and we did this in the green room of a comedy club. So that tells you how far this podcast has gone. It's a pretty wild ride when you think about it. Anywho, let's get into the podcast right now, and have a great day. Don't hurt nobody, and let's start that party in your ear holes. Oh, also, I want to give a big shout out to my son, Austin A. Carter, also known as AusTheBassBoss. Give him a follow, AusTheBassBoss. He's a wonderful musician, and he's a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young man. He's 14. He's soon to be 15. Follow him on YouTube, AusTheBassBoss. He's also on Instagram and TikTok. I love that kid. All right, guys. I love you guys as well. Have a great day, and let's start that party in your ear holes.
Pocket Party.
Hey, welcome to the Swine Time Podcast. We got a special Swine Time Podcast today. As today, I won't be going solo. I got a partner in crime today, the world famous Darren Carter.
Darren Carter, the party starter. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening, and thanks for having me on your podcast, Brian. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much,
it's an honor. I'm glad to be able to see you again, man. It's been a long time since I've seen you, and I used to see you every dang week, dude. At least once, or feel like I saw you like once a week for the last, I don't know, years. For years
sure,
and years.
Right? Like I'd see you off and on, and then it was definitely like in more recent times, like in 2015, 20 whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, we started working heavy together around 2016.
Yeah, I was like, let's do the road, man. I started clicking with you. We started doing like the Laugh Factory up in Reno, and I'd run into you in Las Vegas, and you always have these wild stories and fun stories. And I remember I shot this one video with you. You were wearing a suit in Las Vegas. We were in a showroom. You were in a movie, and I was performing at the Tropicana. And I remember I got a lot of views on that video because it was pretty funny. Because you're wearing a suit, you look very charming. You look like a Las Vegas, like what people picture, like the Rat Pack. And then, but for comfort, you were wearing sneakers. You were running shoes.
Yeah.
And I went and I said something like, "This guy's G'd up from the feet up. Look at this guy. He looks like he just came off of whatever I said." And I go, and then I pointed down. I go, "Until you get to the socks and shoes." And you're like, "Hey, it's for comfort," or whatever. And for some reason, people really clicked with that, and a lot of girls were like, "Is that guy single?" And I was like, "Oh, Instagram is a totally different experience for a guy that looks good." I was like, that's wild. I was like, but yeah, man, we had a lot of fun. We always shoot these wacky videos. I remember we went to a bowling alley in Reno. It's like the world's largest bowling alley, and I think they shot some scenes for Kingpin.
Yeah, they did.
And it's like 100 lanes or something like that. Some crazy.
I think it's actually the Bowling Hall of Fame we went to.
That's what it is. That's right. And I remember, you just had this blank look on your face. You were out there staring, and I go, "What you thinking of?" And you said something. I go, "We got to film that." A lot of times our videos, it's something that really happens, and then we think, "Let's film it."
Yeah.
And that one, I think you said, "Man, I was wondering." You were up in the bleachers. You go, "I was just." Can I say this?
Yeah, of course.
You go, "Man, I was just out there. I was just looking at all those bowling lanes, and I was wondering. I wonder what it's like if I had sex with some girl out there on those bowling lanes." And then
I still wonder about that.
Yeah, and I said, "Well, it'd probably be pretty slippery. You might have to rent some shoes." Or so. That's a funny visual, like a guy and a girl grabbing, getting some rental shoes from the bowling alley. "Oh, what lane are you going to play?" "We're going to play lane 69. Hey. But yeah, so we always have those funny things. I remember one time we were in Reno, and it was probably 17 degrees, and the wind was whipping. There was snow on the ground. And you had like that cool brown coat with like the fur inside or whatever that is, that Marlboro Man style.
Yeah.
And I go, "Come on, man up, you can do this." Because we're looking, me, I like to look for a good place to eat. And you go, "Let's go back inside and use our casino vouchers." And I go, "Come on, Brian, this is the Old West. The Old West. They didn't go back into a casino no, I go, "This is the Old West, man. We've only been out for 2 minutes." And you're like, "Yeah, but in the Old West, they didn't have casino vouchers with a free meal."
Yeah, dude. We really are lucky to be alive in this time frame.
I know.
We didn't have to look for our own food, right?
I know. I was like, "Come on, let's go hunt for our food." Me and Mom, I was hunting for like a Chinese buffet or something. It wasn't much of a hunt.
Yeah, I always like to save $1 or $2 when I can too, man.
I know, that goes a long way.
It does.
Did you eat any of your hotel breakfast out here?
I had a hotel breakfast yesterday, but not today. I kind of overslept today.
Me too. I did the hotel breakfast yesterday. I had to get up early to do radio, and I was like, "Well, I'm already up." I went down there and got the coffee to wake up, and then I was like, "Ooh!" And then they had like a little bit of scrambled eggs and.
So here's on the note of hotel breakfast. Here's some advice for anybody listening who drives a lot and is, if you're like me, you don't like to get a hotel every night. Sometimes you're driving a lot. You want to sleep in your car and get a start the next day. Well, here's an advice for safety and for another reason is sleep in a hotel parking lot that has continental breakfast. So what you do, you sleep in the parking lot and you sleep underneath the lights. So in case anything happens, you're underneath the lights, right?
Yeah, so all the cameras catch like the crime happening.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
oh, there's the suspect and there's the victim. No.
And hopefully you're not too bad of a victim, right?
Yeah. We're just joking.
But I do that because I do think about that. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna be sleeping somewhere, I want to be where, and then in the morning you wake up, you go in the hotel, you act like you stayed there all night. You get your free breakfast. You go into the bathroom, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Start your day.
How do you act? How does one act like they stayed there all night?
We really don't. You just walk in with confidence and walk right to the food.
Yeah.
And get those little waffles that you pour the syrup in the thing in, and
oh, he knows what he's doing. Okay, he must be a guest.
Yeah. They don't really question you.
Yeah, you don't keep your head on a swivel. Like, oh boy, I hope I don't get caught.
Right. You just act like you anything you're trying to sneak into. You act like you belong.
Yeah.
Learned that the old school way when I used to go into events in California,
This guy, a lot of times comics will save their hotel keys for when they're in the next place. That way they can just kind of hold up their key in case anyone. This one comic I saw in Las Vegas online, he goes, if you've ever stayed at it, and it was like some really fancy hotel, he's like, they have like free drinks and food, happy hour, and he goes, but you got to have the key. And then he opens up and he has like 20 keys. I'll be at the merchandise table selling these keys.
That's cool.
That's kind of a funny bit, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Last night you had something that was they do at the club. I didn't realize, dude, you got a parking violation. It looked like a very legitimate parking violation, but apparently it's a marketing idea. Like if they're like, it looks legit, and then when you turn the ticket over, it's
you won tickets to the upcoming show. Yeah,
it's like, now that we've got your attention, but
yeah,
I don't know if I like that approach because it starts out negative and then it's.
But it's funny. I mean, it's funny.
I guess it's funny.
But I guess it does get people, because I remember the first time that happened to me there, I was like, oh man, okay, that's cool. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of memorable to do, and I think it's funny. It gets them, and then it makes them think, and it's something that people talk about, right? We're talking about it the next day.
That's true. I wouldn't. Yeah, if it was just tickets, I wouldn't have talked about it.
Yeah,
I've heard that police departments have done that. They'll pull people over, and then they'll walk up and be like, I want to cite you for driving good today, and here's a free, Oh,
that's cool.
I don't know if I'd like that either. Would you want to be stopped by a cop?
Well, I don't like getting stopped by cops. It makes me nervous, but if they did something like that, sometimes you get stopped by cops. I had this happen to me in the town next to my town, and I got pulled over for the speed limit thing, and I didn't know. I thought it was 45 or whatever, and it was 35, and the cop, she was cool. She let me go. She says, yeah, most people don't know. I just pull people over so that they know. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
I like that when it's a positive experience. I had that happen once New Year's Day. I was driving down to the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, and there was like no cars out, New Year's Day. And then a cop pulled me over. And, he's like, I don't know if you're aware of this. You're in a construction zone. Because there's nobody working or anything. And I go, really? I didn't even realize it. He goes, yeah, so you're supposed to go like 45 right here. And I'm like, okay, no problem. He might have just been pulling random cars and just checking them out and stuff.
Yeah, that's true too. Seeing if anybody was drunk. So
I don't know. Here's my hot tip. If it seems to work for me most of the time, whenever I've been pulled over, I always put the radio on something really like soft music, like old school. I'm talking like Gene Autry music. If you could like have a station that's just like, so you know what I mean? It's like
so they don't think you're pumping out AC/DC and getting crazy.
Yeah, getting all pumped on, yeah, exactly. So it's like, but it just kind of has a calming effect.
Yeah, true.
All my windows are down. I turn my dome light on, and the cop walks up, and then here's some dude and the music is like, oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam. It's kind of like, this nerd, you know what I mean? Like, for the most, I guess, right?
Hey, if it's working, you got to keep trying it. So, now we haven't done shows. Now, let's talk about comedy for a minute, man. Stand up. You were giving some advice yesterday. I want you to kind of say to the audience of what they might think of, because you were talking about how I am a little bit with getting wild, and I personally like the way that my comedy style has changed recently since the pandemic, but I want to hear how you were saying about it, your opinions.
Oh, like I think in front of an audience, from what I've seen when I worked with you, you're maintaining your likability, the charm. You're throwing in some material other than political stuff. I think sometimes when you do the selfie style with just your phone in the middle of nowhere and you're just talking to the camera, that part, so every now and then I'm like, it looks a little too angry, I think your strength is when you interact with the girls off, like hey, and I've seen some videos where you do that, or just people, like interacting in a nice, pleasant way. That's your strength, man.
I'm good at interacting with people.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about
when
that.
When you're by yourself and you're out there looking at the duck pond, and you're like, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, bro. It's like, whoa, dude, that's not as when you're on stage, it works. Like, I remember one night we were in El Paso, and the crowd probably, they probably wanted an escape from all that kind of stuff, and you were venting on stage, and it didn't quite go the way it had the night before, but you just were able to I don't know, that's just me. I believe everything I read. And you kind of,
I don't know if I would.
you kind of pulled up that Ohio charm. You know what I mean? 'Cause you go, that's what you said, though. Kind of. You know, you go,
Okay.
you go this and this and this and this and this, and then no one really reacted, and you go, I mean, it must be true. I read it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, that's
or whatever.
okay.
But the way you kind of said it
yeah.
was like, and the crowd's like, oh, okay, this guy's a country rube, you know? As opposed to like, whoa, this guy's, you know, yeah. So it was. I definitely I like it when you, and I know audiences like it when you maintain the likability, the charm, and then the funniness. Because remember, we're comedians, and I'd love to see you do more like Man on the Street or just, even stuff that's not related to anything, just whatever,
Yeah,
like,
just talking to people.
yeah, like I bookmarked a video today, and I would love to see you do some stuff like this. This guy, there was this black man fishing, and I've seen this guy's videos before, and the cameraman walks up and he's like, "Hi, I'm shooting a documentary. Can I ask you a couple questions?" And you just hear his voice, you don't see him, and then the guy looks at him and he's like, "Sure." And then the question is, "Are you happy?" And then the person will answer,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's his whole thing. It's like, "Are you happy?" And then the guy answered. He was like, "Yeah, I'm out here fishing. I figure I want to keep myself busy every day, doing something that makes me happy. Because, if I get caught up in gossip and the news or whatever, that makes me unhappy. Or if I'm bored, I'm like, well, there's nothing to do today because I become unhappy." And he goes, "So I like." And it was that's his whole thing. Like, "Are you happy?" And then he talked.
Yes, everybody, if they're happy.
I believe so. I think that's what he's done. And he's done other things like he asked somebody else, I don't know if it's the same guy, but I saw another thing like that today where the guy was like, "Do you have any regrets?" And the person answered, they go, "I wish I'd spent more time with my parents."
Mm.
And right when, the way he shot it, the way he did it, right when the person talked, he answered, and then it switched to black and white. It was very effective.
Because it closed, that's it. That's all you needed to see, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
You know what I mean? So I would love to see you do more of that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like anyways, that's just me in my opinion.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, that's fun to do too.
When I heard you do I heard one of your podcasts a long time ago talking, I want to say Mr. and Mrs. M.
Yeah.
It was great, man. It was like 2 years ago, and I was listening to it. I was on the road, and I was like, that was good, man. Like that. I'd love to see you do more of that stuff. And in fact, I'm glad you're doing this podcast.
Yeah, well, but recently my podcast, see, I'm still furious over the world, man. I mean, how do I get over that? Because it's like I mean, all this stuff going on.
You're not alone. Know that you're not alone. A lot of people are, and it's not you specifically. You know what I mean? Like, so just like I talked to this guy who's I don't know if he's a millionaire or not, but he sure acts like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him how things were going, and he was like, telling me how he had a hard time during the pandemic, blah, 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 blah. And I felt kind of bad for him. But then I told this other guy who kind of snapped me back to reality. And this other guy was like, he's like, "Wah, we all had a hard time,"
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, he was kind of, the younger guy was a little, I could tell maybe slightly jealous because, the millionaire, because I don't know if the guy really, I think he might be because he.
Yeah. Either way, he's got money.
Yeah.
So it seems like.
Yeah, he does theaters and he has really nice cars and.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe it was. But I'm saying it was probably tough on him. But it might be a tougher on. I think. I mean, it probably wasn't that tough compared to someone who has to, like what you were doing. Delivery groceries and this and
yeah,
that.
my life took.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, like, because see, and the thing about this whole thing is, it's not like we get these 2 years back. Right?
I know.
It's not like you're going to be on your deathbed and people are going to be like, "You know what? You missed." And for me, the 2 years that were missed were pretty vital years because in my goals, I figured out I was at the time doing Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Sundays at the headlining on good clubs.
Yeah.
And on the weekends, I'd be out with you or something featuring.
Yeah.
And in my mindset, I thought, well, maybe in 2 years, I could be on the weekends, at least at some of the clubs that I'm headlining on the weekdays.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm starting back to past where I was.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like I got even further to go now.
But it can turn around, man. All you have to do is figure out a plan, get it going, and you're already this deep into it. It's like, like for example, there's that dry bar comedy situation.
Yeah.
If you were to, maybe that could be a thing where you get a tight 20 minutes clean, 100% clean, 25 clean, submit something, and they'll be like, yeah, this guy's just as good as anybody else, and then boom, you get on there, and then all of a sudden
Doors
you attract
open.
more fans and stuff. So it's like, I think that the distraction can happen with some people is they lose sight of their goals and they get caught up in these arguments online. Or
Well, that's me.
whatever.
With some people, that means me.
Okay, good. I didn't want to I don't want to put you on blast on your podcast.
Hey, people
but-
know me. People know
Yeah,
me.
okay,
I'm a
exactly.
fucking warrior on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like what Joe Rogan says. Post and ghost. He
Post
puts
and
his
ghost.
thing,
That's a good-
He moves on. What I told you 2 years ago. Be a content creator, not a content consumer. And
yeah.
I got to tell you, even my son noticed it about me. He goes, Dad, I noticed you used to watch a lot more YouTube videos. And he goes, I notice now, and it's true, almost every time when I'm at my computer,
You're posting.
I'm editing on an iMovie, and then I'm figuring, and then I'm putting into like InShot, and I'm putting in the right dimensions, and I'm trying to get stuff out there. And I felt really lucky and blessed that this week I had like definitely had 3 videos and some more, but for sure 3 videos really pump me up and get me viral, like on TikTok and YouTube. And they're all short comedy videos, and I'm like, yes, finally, 400,000 views, 500,000 views,
Good.
that kind of stuff. And yeah, on YouTube it's harder to get those views back.
Right.
Some of them got 100,000 plus, and they got more subscribers, and it's like
That's still good.
It's helping me put me in the game, because it's like, I've been doing this for like over 30 years, and it's like, man, things have changed in my life,
Well, that's what's pretty
stand-up.
cool is that you've been able to survive the highs and the lows. And let me ask you about this, because I was explaining this to Manny in the green room last night about our friendship and about how I met you. Okay, when I met you, I felt like you were pretty famous.
Yeah.
So, how is that being that, I mean, I feel like you were more famous then. Like, people then still know you, right? You still have the fans, but you were pretty famous, dude. From where I saw it. Now, maybe
Yeah.
I was newer, so I didn't realize what was up, but everybody that was at the restaurant I worked knew who you were, and when I went to Dublin's, you was pretty famous to watch the shows. Like, I felt you was pretty famous, and you were in a movie with John Travolta. So how is that, like...
Oh yeah, I got into the movie after I met you too, by the way.
Yeah, so maybe after. So I mean, but you were everybody knew who you were, and I felt you. In my opinion, you were pretty famous. Like not like crazy, but you were
enough to where I'd walk in places
and everybody knew you. Or a lot of people knew you.
I even had a bio back then, and it's still in my bio, which I don't know. I think I've taken it off, but it keeps popping up on the internet. Where one of the things, it was sort of said as a joke, but it was kind of true. I said, he gets recognized on the daily. And I remember I did a podcast a few years ago, and the girl, Esther Koo, and she was like laughing. She goes, Darren, I got to ask you about this one line. Do you really get recognized on the daily? And I was like, well, when that thing was written, I kind of was.
You were then.
Like I remember one time Jay Davis and I, this other comedian, we were in Miami, and he goes, dude, you got recognized 17 times today. We were keeping a running count,
Yeah.
And he goes, because he's toured with Dane Cook, he goes, I think you get recognized more than Dane, dude. I'm not even kidding.
Right.
That was at that time. And I got to tell you, at that time, one of the things they recognized me from was
BET, right?
Do BET, and they would run the heck out of those comedy shows, and I'm a white guy on BET, and I was funny, so I'd stand out. And, I to this day get people, like I put up a video recently. I was on a live, on Instagram you can go live, and this random fan, black guy out of Detroit, was like, Darren Carter, oh my God, I can't believe it's you, man. Oh my God. Not to make you feel bad or nothing, man, but I mean, I was watching you since I was 12, man. And now this guy's like probably 30 something.
Hey, that don't make you feel bad.
I know,
That's
at all,
like flattering,
exactly.
right?
He goes, man, now it's just, my parents would say, go to bed, and I'd be in my room sneaking around watching Comic View.
Wow.
And man, you was fun. And I get a lot of that. Where there's that people, it's that core memory of like, being with their mom watching or whatever. And that's not just me. It's anybody who's done something big like that.
Right.
They have those, it's just part of the entertainment. But, but yeah, so to go from that to where it started to like fade a little bit, at first I didn't notice. Steve Martin made a thing once. He said, your career's over and you don't notice until 3 years after. And that kind of stuck with me. I was like, not that my career's over, but that did stick with me, where I was like, hey, and then you look back, that's why I wasn't going out for bigger parts.
And why was that?
I don't know. Things happen. You're hot, you're cold. This one agent that used to represent me, she somebody had told me that they were in a meeting and they brought my name up, and that agent that used to, she goes, "Oh, Darren Carter's Hollywood's turned cold on him now." I don't know if it's because of my age or the way this like a sea change, how things change. Who knows? White guy in his 50s isn't really as desirable as a guy when you're in your 20s or 30s.
Okay, so now here's my next question is because the way I am right now is I'm against Hollywood pretty much,
and we're against you.
Yeah, exactly. Hollywood is against me. Of course
kidding.
they are. Well, I mean,
I'm part of Hollywood.
But Hollywood is against me the way I see it because they're straight, white,
But that's me. But what about you though?
Hey. But I feel like, but Hollywood is against me because of my points of view.
But that's the thing. There's all kinds of projects. There's all kinds of things. And besides, you know what? I don't want to ever be that guy that makes excuses because I remember
I'm not making excuses.
No, but I know. But I don't want to be that guy. And sometimes facts are facts, and sometimes they're opinions. And I do complain sometimes. And then I'm like, am I that guy that's crying and whining? Because I remember when I would be on. I'll just say it straight up. When I was on a sketch show on BET, William Morris picked me up, that big agent, and I remember there was one of the cast members. He was like, "This is a racist town, man. Out of all of us, they picked a white guy to get represented." So I mean, people always will find a reason.
Fair enough.
And what about our buddy? Shout out if you're listening, Tarun Shetty. He's not listening, but he's how do you think he feels? He's everything they want, an Indian guy, and he's not getting a break either. So I mean,
yeah, you're right. I gotta stop complaining. But I guess what I was getting at: how do we control our destiny instead of waiting?
Putting out great stuff.
Yeah.
Putting out great content, great stuff, man.
Instead of waiting, because we can't be waiting for these agents at William Morris. They're idiots.
No, they're not. Well, listen.
They're idiots.
Here's what I'll tell you. Well, I mean, okay. They're if you make the money, if people can make money off your business, then you'll work with. Because you look at guys like, listen, here's your thing, and my thing too. We don't sell so many tickets to where. Because you like that guy JP Sears.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's like you, but mega successful. Like this guy does. I heard him on a podcast with Roseanne Barr, another one that was banished to the woods or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, man, I heard you were in Hawaii and you did 12 sold out shows. And she goes, I didn't even know you back then, but my daughter went to one of your shows. So I mean, guys like him, he's working at all the clubs, all the theaters. He's doing, and there's tons of guys that probably think like you do.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
But you know what I mean?
They get that market.
Yeah,
he's got the good sketches he does.
Yeah, the stuff is undeniably so good. And it's probably like, just ask yourself, how can I be more, like, I mean, I just saw Tim Dillon. He's like cleaning it up on
Netflix.
Yeah, no, not Netflix, but that other thing, Patreon.
Okay.
But of course, Netflix put them out there. So businesses and companies and stuff will want to work with you. It's just you got to get so undeniable to where, don't waste your time fighting with that one comic you're telling me on Facebook. Who cares about that? That guy's not. Any of that stuff is. Dude, I saw this great thing online. It was about. I think the guy was. It was something like, how can I stop doing drugs, or something like that. It was a TikTok that popped up, and the guy goes, I asked myself this on anything. When you have a goal, if I do this activity, if I do this thing, is it going to help me towards my goal or hurt me?
Yeah. And
he goes, and that goes towards. And he named all this stuff, and he goes, and that's the same thing. So fighting with someone in the comment section on your own video, is that going to help you or hurt you? And it's like, is it helping you go towards your goal or not? It's like, I highly doubt, like, I already told you, Joe Rogan doesn't do this.
Yeah.
All these top people,
they don't even have time to.
They don't have time to. They don't want to do it. They know it's not good for them. It's like, what's the point? It's like they've just wasted mental time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, that's good advice.
I've told you this before, though. So
no, I mean, no, I'm still working on it, dude.
Yeah,
I think I've improved.
Yes, I mean that's good. And keep
I think the year I took off. See, I kind of wish I didn't go back on social media, but
and get to the point where you just hit like and move on, or hit laugh, or just whatever. That's what I do.
Yeah,
all the time.
I really don't. See, here's the thing, though. I don't watch anybody's stuff. That's why I don't follow anybody on Instagram or not. You see, you call me to tell me to like your videos.
Yeah, I go, dude, like that. I can put it up, help me out.
Yeah. So you literally call or text me to do it because I don't watch, and on Facebook I'm the same. I don't like to, I wish that nobody's things even popped up on my Facebook.
That's good. Every now and then it's good just to kind of see what's out there to learn. I do that for learning, like to be like, oh, I need to do this, and how do I?
Yeah.
Otherwise there's,
But like on anything, I mean, there's like a couple guys podcasts I listen to that are You know, and then I like.
But yeah, that's what you do. Back to the thing with the like that guy JP Sear, whoever,
Yeah.
like those top level guys that are like.
Learn from them.
Because you say like, oh, Hollywood sucks. No, they don't.
They don't. You're
look
right.
at Steve Trevino. Look at these guys. Or
You're right.
Jim
right.
Brewer. I mean, these
I
guys
was just
are,
being too negative. Yeah,
Yes.
because Jim Brewer's
Yeah.
got the same
Yes,
viewpoints, and he's crushing.
Yes, and he's hilarious. And that's
And
the
he's
thing.
fucking
You got to be
awesome.
hilarious. You got to be so good that they're undeniable, that people want to work with you. I mean, there's plenty of markets and businesses and this and that, and you know, just they like you. Like last night, they liked you. You know,
Yeah, the crowd's still.
they always like you. El Paso, wherever I'm with you. You know, it's like, you know, just maintain the funny part. That's the part that you got to always.
Because because now I'm feeling like, man, I want to say my point of views, though, because I enjoy comedy more when I'm giving a little bit of my dig in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have so much more fun when I can really, and that's only changed in the last several years, right? Because before I was, you know, I worked clean. I still can work clean, but
You can still work clean like this. But,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man. It's just, I don't know. I just, with everything happening, I was like, man, I just want to put my little signature on it of how I really feel.
Well, maybe you could still do that, but just, I don't know. What do other guys do that are successful? They do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, my top two guys, Bill Hicks and George Carlin, would do, you know,
Yeah.
I wish they were alive to say what they would think of the world right now.
I mean, look at Bill Burr. I like that abortion bit.
Yeah.
That was like a touchy topic, but
And
he made it funny. You
Yeah.
know? But that's the thing. You gotta make it funny. So
Funny,
funny that it's not like hateful or like.
Yeah, not
like,
mean.
Yeah. I wonder if that guy that, you know, messed up, you know,
Yeah.
wrote some negative. I wonder if he writes negative stuff on Bill Burr's stuff. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, he'd be afraid to.
Probably, right?
Yeah, he'd be afraid to.
Not necessarily. You never know, though. These idiots will write anything. You
Yeah.
know? Anyway, whatever.
It's amazing. Okay, so we're here in Naples one more night, and then where are you going to go
When
to
does this
next?
go up?
There's something putting up today, dude.
Oh, okay, cool. Come to the show tonight, guys.
Yeah, come on the show. You got 2 hours.
You got 2 hours. Hope you're listening to this on the way to the show. No, you know, I would like if everybody that's listening to this would come check out my YouTube channel and subscribe and leave comments in the comment section. I always respond, and unless it's negative, then I'll block you.
Or send me in there to get by.
Yeah, Brian will come after you. Ruff, ruff, ruff. So here's how you find me on YouTube. It's Darren Carter, Darren Carter, Carter. Darren Carter. That's where my podcast is. Pocket Party Podcast. 246 episodes as of this recording. And Mr. Brian Swinehart, hey, was on my very first voyage,
right,
the Virgin
yeah.
Voyage of the first episode. You're in episode number 1.
Because I kind of motivated you to restart it up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned that you should. I don't know if I motivated
Yeah.
you, but I thought you should do another one.
Yeah, I did, because I used to do another podcast with a partner back in 2010, 2011, and, you know, that's the thing in this business. People fall by the wayside. That partner, we had done over 200 episodes, and then he quit.
Wow.
And I was like, dang. So I just was like, you know what, I'm going to focus on other things. So I let some time slide, and then I got back into it. But that's another thing. You realize, even with like physical fitness, I used to have my gym partners like, let's go to the gym.
Yeah.
We'll meet at 10:30. And then they stop showing up, and you realize, oh, wait a second. I can't rely on anybody. You can't rely on my gym. You know, same thing with podcast partners, comedy partners.
Yeah.
Like, just gotta. It's a solo journey, and it's very. I remember I was in an acting class once. Excuse me. And the guy was like, he gave us like almost like a motivational speech, like he was General Patton. He was like, it's lonely at the top. You want to be at the top? It's lonely. He's like, there's a lot of things. Not only are you what you have to say yes to, but what you have to say no to. You might have to say no to certain gatherings. You might have to say no to, like, you know, birthday parties, this and that. Like,
You do.
because I think about my amateur friends who are like, I can't go. I got to go to. I'd be like, I book them on a show. I got to go to Disneyland for my friend's birthday party. It's like so much of that crap. It's like
Yeah.
those guys never made it. They're,
Of course not.
Not to say that you have to deny, but
You've got to have
Yeah.
a little bit of a life with your family
Yes,
or your,
for sure.
you know, but like, yeah, there's been a lot.
But you know, when the people do it too extreme, they're like, they do everything to extreme. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, so you have to, and it's like what you say no to as well. Like, no, maybe, you know, no, I can't go to Disneyland all the time. I got to go do some sets, you know, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing he said is he gets lonely at the top, and he said, he goes, there's going to be a lot of these guys that are losers that are out there on the sidewalk. You guys are out there, you know, he was talking about auditions. You guys all hang out after the audition and talk about how bitching about how tough the business is.
Like I was just doing
but
15 minutes ago.
But that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a million guys like that. A million actors, actresses, comics, singers, entertainers that are like, I almost had my big break and then this happened. It's like, I don't want to be part of that at all. I don't want to think, I don't even want to entertain that idea in my mind. So That's why I want to be undeniable to where it's like, and lately I guess I have been to some people, thank God, with those videos where they're like, this is funny, I want more of this. And that's like, yes, finally. I'm
motivation.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, Darren, thanks for coming out, dude. Another great episode with you. And, man, could you remind the audience what time it is?
It's swine time. Hey, hey.
Thanks for listening.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party. Darren.